Hello and welcome to the Spurs-Heat Post Game Show. I am Cameron Sadeghi along with Jordan Hunter and your 2014 NBA Champions, the San Antonio Spurs, and your MVP, Kawhi Leonard. They were able to do it in 5 games. Jordan, what was your initial reaction when the Spurs claimed the Larry O'Brien trophy?
My initial reaction was joy. I'm not a Spurs fan, but I'd rather see the Spurs hoisted up rather than the Heat. Remember, before this started, I said Spurs in 6. You said that might be a little, that might be tough, but I said Spurs in 6, maybe 7. I didn't think Spurs would win in 5. I thought San Antonio, honestly, in my opinion, today, this game, I thought Miami started out really strong. I thought they'd have this game in the bag after they got off to such a hot start. And then I thought they'd maybe win this one and take it back to Miami, and I don't know what happened there. But yeah, my initial reaction was just joy and shock.
I agree, but I have to give credit to San Antonio, and actually, in 1 minute, we're going to get Kenny Anderson, so he might call me. We're going to go to commercial very soon, so I just want to warn everybody about that. Kenny Anderson from Georgia Tech, one of the best of the best. He was a great player, former NBA All-Star from the Q Borough. We'll get him on. But I agree. Kudos to Spurs. They played great basketball. You know what? Miami, they struggled. And I think San Antonio really proved to everyone, especially in the basketball community, that it can't take a one-man wrecking crew to win. I think the Heat, the past 2 years, they had a good bench, a better system, but it just didn't work out. The fatigue came in. San Antonio more prepared. They handled Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili's minutes well, and I think that really paid off in the end. So, again, Kenny Anderson, he should come on. I believe he will call right now. So, Kenny, we will get him on. So, let's take a quick break, and we'll get Kenny Anderson on. So, we will be back in a minute.
Previously on In the Paint.
I'm just trying to think of really good centers right now. Oh! You know what? Where does Nene fit? Top 15?
Broken down Nene. Yeah,
I don't like it when people say, "Oh, he's dumb."
He makes a lot of dumb plays.
Okay, but you know what? Dennis Rodman made a lot of dumb plays. And same with Charles Oakley, and same with Charles Barkley, and same with Tom Gugliotta, and same with Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal didn't even want to run the triangle. He's like, "I don't give a care, Phil. Let me just give it to me in the post, 28-15. That's all he said.
Wow, I can't
Okay, what do you think Shaq's IQ of the game of basketball?
I don't think it's really high.
Yeah, I don't think so either. No, Shaq would just give you the bow and the big butt just to beat you out. Let's be honest. He even said on TNT, he put the bow in the mouth, and then he put his big posterior on somebody and slam it through and give Rick Smith's concussion. Unbelievable.
Live from the national sports radio station on Spreaker.com, you are listening to NBA insiders Cameron and Jordan on In the Paint. It all starts.
Alright, you know what? Kenny, where are you? We're making a public announcement for you to come. If anybody knows Kenny Anderson, please tell him to come on the show. We've been trying to get you on, Kenny, but you don't call us. Honestly, Kenny, come on. Okay, so I gave him... Oh, he didn't call me. I just tweeted him right now. He hasn't said anything. So when he calls, we're just going to... I'll stop talking and we'll just get him on. So, Jordan, go ahead.
What?
So, let's keep talking about the Spurs and the Heat.
Okay.
And, with Kawhi, did you think that Here, let me just say this. With Kawhi, do you think he is now an elite player?
I mean, that's what you'd think because he won the Finals MVP and he did so much for his team, but I still wouldn't put him in that elite category. I think he's a great defender. But he didn't have that good of a season. He kind of broke out in the playoffs, in the Finals especially. But I think one day he can be I see him as a player like Paul George kind of. Great. Paul George is a great two-way player. He runs his team. He can shoot the ball. He can get to the basket. I see him kind of like a Paul George type player. But no, I don't put him in that elite category yet. Not just yet. I think he needs to have a better regular season first.
I agree. A lot of people have been saying that Kawhi is even better than Paul George. I don't know about that yet. And I have to say this. San Antonio provides great systems. And I think, I don't want to say Kawhi's too much of a product of a system, but he was never really a star coming out of San Diego State. Like, some people thought he can't even be a guard. I mean, because of his lack of three-point shooting. But he improved and improved day in and day out, and it showed with getting the Finals MVP from Bill Russell. So I have to give a lot of credit to what he's been able to do. He never got out of control. He never turned into Latrell Sprewell. He didn't go all Allen Houston on us and take fadeaway mid-range two-point jumpers. We have to give him a lot of credit. I'm just impressed. Wait, go ahead.
Do you think it's a bad thing to be a product of the system, or?
Well, no, I don't think it's a bad thing, but I would love to see, honestly, before Paul George's career ends and before Kawhi Leonard's career ends, I want to see them both on a different team. I really do, because it would be very interesting to see how they would react to different systems.
Yeah. Like a player like Danny Green, I don't know if he'd be able to play in another type of system.
Yeah.
With another type of offense, like the triangle offense. He might not produce the same. But look how they turned guys like Patty Mills, who was just like kind of a journeyman, couldn't find a place in Portland. You know, didn't come off the bench for a while in San Antonio. He was known as a towel waver. He just waved his towel whenever someone busted a three. You know, getting the sideline excited. But you know, look what happened to him. He emerged this whole season as one of the better backup point guards. Danny Green, that started last season in the playoffs when he was just knocking down triples. Kawhi Leonard, this year's playoffs turned into I think he's a breakout star, but I don't put him in that elite category. Bellinelli contributed. Boris Diaw came up big. Thiago Splitter had some big plays. So I think you're right. I think the system is just it's set up so it's hard for their team to fail. You can plug guys in and they'll kind of mold into the player they should be in that certain system.
But I get what you're saying, you know, plugging in guys to their system, but they do it very strategically. Like,
yeah.
We don't, like, I've always been a Patty Mills fan from the D-League. I know that's kind of laughable, but he's a D-League legend. But, you know, they get guys who are three-point shooters. They're not out of control. They're selfless, and that's who they really get. And I'm really impressed with. There are times where it's easy to get out of control. It's easy to press, like to keep pressing, to keep taking bad shots when you have a lead, to easily fall into bad habits when you're up by 20. But I was sitting there shocked, honestly. I was waiting for San Antonio to go through some bad habits, because they did last year, right? With Game 6. They went through some bad habits with the lead, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you could even say Game 7. But they didn't. They stuck with the plan. They kept pressing, aggressive. They got to the rim repeatedly early when they were trying to get the comeback. Then all of a sudden it opens up threes. You know, the Duncan post-ups early really helped out to get Patty threes, Ginobili threes, Leonard threes. even Boris Diaw a three. So. So you gotta again. The Spurs did a great job offensively and then defensively, really recognizing how to contain LeBron and trying to get him out of the lane, trying to stop him on the fast break, and forcing Wade to be a facilitator, which he could not do in these finals. And look, I know a lot of people may say you're a Dwayne Wade hater, you're a James Harden hater. Just stop, Cameron. But let me tell you this. It's time for Dwayne Wade. This is the downfall. This is the demise. He simply can't facilitate in that offense anymore. It's just that simple.
I think, as you were saying, I think it was kind of a bad move for Spoelstra to have that starting lineup with no true point guard, force LeBron to exert a lot of energy to handle the ball. As you said, put the ball in Wade's hands, and he's not a facilitator. If he wasn't turning the ball over, he had some plays which could be equivalent to turnovers, such as a jump ball that he ended up losing, which gives the ball right back to San Antonio. He had some bad passes that were tipped out, and I think Wade is going down. I think he's not going to retire, but he's definitely on the downfall. Do you think it was San Antonio's execution that won the championship? Do you think it was Miami's lack of execution just straight up wetting the bed, or a combination of both?
Okay, let me just say this. I should have been more aware. I'll say this. I think it's a little bit of a combination of both, but I'm going to favor San Antonio's execution a little bit more. Because if you looked at, and I should have looked at this more closely in the beginning of the year, I kind of dismissed it in the regular season. I noticed Miami was not playing collectively. They really weren't. They were relying too much on LeBron to carry it through every night. And we know how special LeBron is and the way he facilitates. He can do it all. He's got the complete package, but he can't just do it by himself. And we kept saying, I think as a nation, we kept saying, I don't know if you said this too, Wade's going to be fine in the finals. Wade's going to be fine. His knees are not going to give out. But it did. Miami really struggled. You can't have just a one-man punch. You need a 1-2 punch, at least. And as your facilitators, and they didn't. It was just LeBron pretty much for these finals, and that's not enough. It reminded me of the Cleveland-San Antonio final in 2007.
Yeah.
Because LeBron...
It really did. It really was San Antonio working as a collective unit, and LeBron... playing his heart out, surrounded by a subpar cast. Yeah, and you look at San Antonio, they have a way better bench collectively. To me, they have the perfect formula, in a sense. I mean, there's no real, true blueprint to win a championship, but they have the formula in the sense that we're going to get experienced creators in Ginobili, Duncan, and Parker. And we're going to surround these three guys with young, energetic role players who are not out of control. It's just the perfect mix with San Antonio. And they found that perfect mix. Therefore, they win the championship. Miami didn't have it this year, ran out of gas. What do you see? Do you think it's a Miami letdown? Or did San Antonio just flat out punch them in the mouth? I think it's a combination. I think it's San Antonio a little more. But I can't dismiss how Miami played. They, like you said, it was LeBron. It was a LeBron show. And he's an amazing player, the best player in the world, but he can't do it all. Rashard Lewis was knocking down those shots early. Ray Allen was pretty solid throughout the whole series. Wade was just a major letdown. He was supposed to be the Robin to LeBron's Batman, and Bosh too, but it didn't come out like that. It was really disappointing to see Wade play like that. Turn the ball over, miss shots, and just it really wasn't a good thing to see. As we're on the topic of the Heat, what do they need to do this offseason? What's their to-do list this offseason? What do they need to do to maybe... Because if they face the same San Antonio team they're gonna get whooped again, in my opinion. I don't think those two teams in the same roster can make any difference. And Battier is gone because he's retiring, and retirement's looming over Ray Allen's head too. So what can Miami do to revamp their roster if the big three stay?
The big three can't stay.
What?
No, let's be honest. No. Let's be honest. Okay, you're going to have to really beef up that bench, right? I mean, the only alternative, really, if you want to keep that big three, is getting Kevin Love, in my opinion.
No.
And moving Bosch as maybe a sixth man. Or, no, actually moving Wade as a sixth man. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'll trade Wade.
You'll trade Wade?
Yes, I said it. And I know it's right after the finals, fresh off the finals, but honestly, Jordan, do you think he can really make a huge impact on the game, whether it's offense or defense, to carry you over? I don't see that. I don't see that at this age anymore with the wear and tear. I don't think he can give it to you anymore.
I think he can produce at a consistent level, maybe 15 a game.
But at a championship level?
Maybe that's why I think you need to surround them. Like, I was hearing reports of that, actually not reports, but I was reading an article about how Kyle Lowry could be a good fit for them. He can control the offense, something that Chalmers doesn't do, and he doesn't make bonehead plays. He can run an offense like he did in Toronto this year.
I just can't see Toronto giving up Kyle Lowry. To Miami? No, because you have to... Maybe I can understand giving Kyle Lowry to the Knicks, but to Miami, that's giving them a ton of weaponry. Because that could keep Miami at dominance for a long time.
Yeah.
And
what about the reports of Melo to Miami, where if the big three were to stay, they'd all have to take significant pay cuts?
No, I don't see that. First of all, I think that would be...
That'd be a best move in Melo's part.
But
Melo's relatively young.
But X's and O's wise, that's not a good decision.
Yeah,
because
that's
it's like 2004 LA Lakers all over again, basically. Let's get a bunch of
dream... I'm going to bring up my 2004 Lakers.
Look, it's like Dream Team... It's like they're fantasizing for a dream team that is just a bunch of big names, but we don't know how it's going to work X's and O's. To me, the number one priority, honestly, the Wade trade, I think that's maybe later down the line, when it becomes like an emergency situation, I think next year.
Where they need help, like, now.
They need to find a consistent sixth man. They need to find 2 to 3 bench players that can really make an impact on both sides of the ball. I'm talking about huge impact. Like, I'm really thinking about going after, like, a Jamal Crawford. Like, that desperate, honestly.
Whoa.
Or, like,
he wouldn't leave L.A.
You don't think so for 1 year?
No. He's got a tour. Jamal, I feel like he's one of those guys who will play just because he can, and he loves the game, and he can cross over anyone. I think he'll be playing till he's 45, crossing people over, getting 4-point plays.
But okay, if you're Jamal, you got an opportunity to win a championship, and are you really going to stay with the Clippers, or if you're going to go 1 year maxed out, I can have an opportunity to be on the top of the mountain when I retire in my career? You don't think he's thinking about that?
You don't think the Clippers have a chance to win a championship?
Man, that's tough. Next, I mean, there's a lot of... Okay, let me just go ahead and say this. They're the most talented team in the league, by far. But I don't think they have the execution yet.
Yeah. So, I think I think they need a starting point guard. I think that's probably second on their list behind bench player, but they can tolerate Chalmers, but I think they really need a starting point guard. Chalmers is not getting the job done. Wade can't play point guard, so they need someone who doesn't have to steal the show, but who can provide points when needed. When LeBron is out, someone who can kind of control the tempo of the game and not make a lot of mistakes. They need a point guard who doesn't make mistakes, who doesn't draw flagrants, doesn't turn the ball over, and who can consistently shoot the three ball.
To me, like, I don't think it's their point guard or center. I think it's they don't have the same role players like they did the last two championships. They really don't. I think they need a younger group surrounding James. And
it was fine a couple of years ago because those guys weren't as old.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Miller was huge. I mean, we know Mike Miller is one of the better 3-point shooters to ever play this game. Period. But missing him, it just Battier wasn't really there because he couldn't. He used to give you that amazing defensive intensity, but he just can't at this age. He can't, and I'm so stuck with Miami because I know they can get to the finals again.
I don't know about that.
You think Indiana or maybe Chicago, but Chicago's a huge question mark. It all depends if Melo goes. Jordan?
I don't. After this, something about him is something. I don't know if they're. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Cameron? Something about them just tells me I don't know if they're a shoe-in to put in the finals. Like, does Mark Miami in the Eastern Conference Finals? I don't think they're that anymore. I don't think they can just go through the playoffs and just make it. Because I think Chicago could maybe challenge them. Chicago's always been tough for.
Yeah, but okay, the one team I'll give you, like the one team that I think is gonna burst out on the scene.
Indiana.
Toronto.
Whoa.
Yes, Toronto. Let's Toronto and Washington. I don't know about Washington yet, but Toronto has the complete package. If they keep everybody.
I think Toronto's...
They can catch fire.
Their progression for next season depends. DeMar DeRozan, he's taking the next step. They keep Lowry. I think they need a small forward because DeRozan and Terrence Ross are both shooting guards. I think they need a small forward, move Terrence Ross to the bench, and bring him off the bench as a sixth man.
You know what?
That's potent. That's really potent with Grievous Vasquez, Patrick Patterson.
If I'm Carmelo, I'm thinking about Toronto.
Really?
You just said it. They need a small forward. You plug him into the equation, all of a sudden Dwayne Casey tells him you have to play defense, and now they become a juggernaut. Because you look at Melo, and the guy, he's just a bona fide scorer, and I think he's willing to facilitate if he's on that great of a team. I don't know if he wants to go to that type of market. I don't know family-wise what it's going to be like for Carmelo, but hey, you got to make the trip out to Toronto. If you really... Okay, let's look at Indiana. Did you really think they threatened Miami? And Miami was on its last legs.
I think they can, but they were really built to be Miami. They planned for it all year long, got the home court advantage, and they couldn't do it. I think they can challenge them again. They need to get more cohesive as a unit. But back to Melo, I don't think people give Melo as much credit as he deserves.
Yeah, I agree.
I really don't. I think, like you said, he's one of the best scorers in the league. He can shoot from three. He can rebound. He averaged over 8 rebounds a game.
To me, he's become a more complete player. I think the two most improved all-star to elite players, I think Joe Johnson and Carmelo Anthony really stepped up their game all around.
Joe Johnson?
Well, I'm saying as an all-around player. I don't think Joe Johnson is an elite player, but the two big-name players that really stepped up their game all around, I think Carmelo and Joe Johnson really stepped up.
Yeah. About the market. I don't know if he'd want to be in that type of market. Kind of, Toronto's kind of got that us against the world feel. We the North.
Oh, you gotta respect that from Toronto. At least they're going.
I really do.
Wait, you do?
I respect it, but it's just a little unnecessary.
But I like it.
No one's trying to fight you.
Yeah, they are. The American media is trying to fight them. Skip Bayless refuses to know who DeMar DeRozan is. Skip Bayless doesn't even care who Kyle Lowry is. Bill Simmons doesn't even know who Jonas Valanciunas is. Charles Barkley doesn't know who Terrence Ross is. People need to respect the Raptors. Period. I mean, I don't think even when Vince Carter was there that the American media even knew who Vince Carter was until he came to New Jersey.
Yeah, remember we talked about this last week. You went on a little rant about the American media.
Oh yeah.
In Toronto, but yeah, they kind of have that little edgy feeling towards them, like a little animosity towards any American team they play. I think Mel could be an okay fit. I don't know if he would want to go there. I think he's thinking bigger market, LA, Chicago. Then even I don't know, Houston. That's a horrible.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's even worse than going to Miami.
With your hate for James Harden.
Oh my God! Okay, let me just say this. If Dwight Howard even touches the ball once with Carmelo Anthony and James Harden, I'll be shocked, honestly. How in the world are you going to get the ball to Dwight Howard and make him a threat? Honestly, Jeremy Lin struggles to pass into Dwight Howard. Chandler Parsons is probably the only guy, and Terrence Jones on the starting lineup that can at least get him the ball in the right position. James Harden constantly complains about Howard not getting involved when it's really him not involving Howard into the offense. There's no way he's going to Houston. If he does, there's no way they're going to win a championship.
So you don't think, for both sides, you don't think a sign and trade, say Chandler Parsons and Jeremy Lin?
No, that's not good.
Is that not enough for New York, or?
No, I don't think New York would really. I mean, New York would have loved to see Jeremy Lin in another rebirth and another great, 2-week journey of Jeremy Lin going absolutely crazy at the Garden. I would love to see that one more time. We needed an encore part 2 at MSG. But the Rockets, they need Lin. I know I criticize Lin, but they need Lin because he provides that spark for them. And we know that. When Lin gets hot, they win games. It's just that simple. He's their X factor in games.
So do you think they should still bring him off the bench and start Beverly?
Yeah. First of all, I think Beverly is more... I think Beverly is focused about getting a good shot down for the team. I don't think Beverly's worried about scoring. And I think Beverly is a much better defender. The Rockets' starting lineup has enough scoring. They have Terrence Jones who can hit the three, who can put it on the ground and get to the basket. Dwight Howard's a scorer. James Harden's a scorer. Parsons can go crazy from three. They're fine. They're fine from offense. But on the bench, they need the offense. And I think Lin provides it. So, the Rockets are talented. But can the James Harden-Dwight Howard combo finally coexist. It's Kobe and Shaq.
I was just going around the internet and I saw, and there was this tweet that Marcus Smart put out saying the Jazz aren't interested in him. And, obviously because they used their last year's lottery pick on Trey Burke. Where do you see Marcus Smart going? Do you see him at 4 to Orlando? Or 6 to LA? Because there's this app, there's this website called Draft Express, and it has Dante Exum falling all the way to 6 to Boston. Yeah, to your Boston team. Do you think that's accurate at all?
I would love to see Dante Exum go to the Celtics. That's all I'm gonna say. But I don't know if that's accurate. I think he's gonna get picked earlier. I think when you look at Marcus Smart, I agree with you. I don't think the Jazz need him, but let me say this. The Magic can get a guy like Marcus Smart. Just Marcus Smart in general. They are on a path to success. They really are. I see Marcus Smart and Dante Exum as... First of all, I think Dante Exum has superstar written all over him. I really believe that. And I think... I think Marcus Smart is a great sixth man. He's going to be a sixth man of the year in the future. So, if I'm the Magic, I make a push for Marcus Smart.
You do?
Yeah.
Even though they already... So, that means you'd move Jameer Nelson to a backup role and start Victor Oladipo?
Yeah. Sometimes I don't view Oladipo as a point guard.
He's more natural as a shooting guard. Because last year he came off the bench as a point guard.
I didn't like that. I agree with you. I think I keep Jameer as a starter. I want Marcus Smart to be a sixth man in this league. And I think the Magic can pose some threats in the East with Smart as their creator off the bench. And one guy, again, I give this guy a lot of credit, Tobias Harris.
Oh, gosh, how did I know this is going to happen?
I have to mention a Tobias Harris. It's just fair to talk about Tobias Harris on the show because the guy's just a great defender. I cannot get past the fact that he pretty much shut Carmelo Anthony down in Orlando. You remember that game, do you?
Yeah.
He's got a mix of Bruce Bowen in him. He's got the Bruce Bowen mentality of shutting people down. And
he's a different type of player than Bruce Bowen.
How?
He's a little bigger and he can play. He's a tweener between the 3 and the 4.
No, I'm saying the mentality. I agree with you there. Yeah. To me, I think the size helps him out so much. Because nobody can take him in the post now. And I think the Magic are starting to get things going here. I don't think they'll be a lottery team in the future. I think they're the lottery team, in my opinion, that's looking real good for the future. You got Vucevic, Aflalo, Oladipo. The mix is there. Do you see Orlando in the next 4 to 5 years being a possible title contender?
I'm not sure about that, but definitely a playoff team. Maybe they go the OKC route and they kind of work their way up the rankings each year.
Yeah.
First round exit, second round exit, conference finals, finals loss. But I think they're on the up. Another team that might be on the up, the Pelicans, and then the Pelicans supposedly are inquiring about Greg Monroe in a possible sign and trade with the Pistons. Do you think he's a perfect fit in New Orleans?
No.
You don't?
I think, to me, well, you know what? That's tough. That's really tough. Man, that team, if they get Greg Monroe, I mean, talk about talent. There's talent all over the place.
Yeah, that's a good, because you can move Anthony Davis to the center. Your bench would include guys like Ryan Roberts, Tyreek Evans, and Ryan Anderson and Anthony Morrow if he stays. That's a decent bench. I think that'd be one of the most talented starting fives, if not the most talented starting five in the league.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if it did happen, because Greg Monroe was not happy in Detroit last year. He really wasn't. Drummond and Monroe just could not. It didn't seem like they got along on the court, and I think Detroit has a bad case of too much talent. Would you agree with that? Because, okay, you got Brandon Jennings, you got Drummond, you have
Josh Smith.
Yeah, just so much talent where it's like, what offense do you create? Should it be the ISO Jennings offense, or should it be the I don't know what the offense should be.
So, do you think it'd be a bad idea if the sign and trade was, say, Greg Monroe for Eric Gordon?
Oh, for the Pelicans, you know what?
Because they don't have a draft pick this year. They gave it up for Drew Holiday.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like the Pelicans shouldn't mess around with their talent. I want to see how far they can go with the talent they have. I think they need to build continuity before they start trying to make trades. I think they have I think they have a really good lineup for the future. And I see Drew Holiday as maybe. This is a huge maybe, but he could be a top 5 point guard in this league in the future.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they didn't have enough cohesion. Because they didn't play together enough. Injuries to Ryan Anderson, Drew Holiday missed some time, missed most of the season actually. Tyreek missed some time with his ankle problem. So I think you're right. I think the best bet for them is to maybe stay pat, let your guys kind of gel a little more, and maybe if it doesn't work then you can think about maybe blowing it up a little bit. That's kind of the same situation as Detroit, do you think, or Detroit just has too much talent?
I think Detroit has too much talent, and the coaching. To me, the difference between the Pelicans and the Pistons, the big difference is there's coaching stability in New Orleans. There's not coaching stability in Detroit.
Do you think Van Gundy can turn it around a little bit, or?
Actually, I don't think Van Gundy's a good personality for them. You can't have a bunch of stubborn. I look at the Pistons, like the main players on that team. There are a lot of stubborn guys, headstrong guys, and putting a guy like Stan, who's going to constantly want to fight and challenge with those headstrong individuals, I don't think that's going to work out.
But you don't think they kind of hired him to help shape Drummond into kind of a Dwight Howard type player, or because he kind of has that Dwight Howard defense, eating up the rebounds, blocking shots, but he just doesn't have the offense yet.
I get what you're saying, and maybe, Detroit was thinking, look what he did with Dwight Howard, we want Drummond to be like Dwight Howard, but you don't think they're going to clash in the middle of the year. I mean, we've seen enough Slam Online stories where they talk about how much the Pistons have fought, and they've had divisions in the locker room. I mean, it's been really bad up there in Detroit. I don't think Stan is the right option. I personally think they need a very poised coach. I thought a guy like a Flip Saunders would be a good choice in Detroit. You think?
He couldn't go though, because he'd have to leave his GM job in Minnesota too. I think that's too much to leave just to coach one team.
Well, I mean, we know Flip is so great. I think you know what would have been the funniest thing, though, honestly, just for comedic value. I think it would be a funny storyline just to see George Karl coach that team. I mean, I think George Karl would honestly collapse on the floor because he wouldn't handle these type of personalities. It's almost tough to handle these personalities on the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah. I was gonna.
Wait, I was gonna ask you something.
Oh, go ahead, because I can't remember what I was gonna say.
We didn't plan this, but the great Sam Mitchell is gonna be an assistant coach with the Timberwolves. Are the Timberwolves stacked for success?
That's what I was gonna ask you.
Really?
I was gonna say, if do you think it was a good move for Flip Saunders, kind of appointing himself coach?
You know what? I have the utmost respect for Flip, and I think Flip is going to be a great coach in Minnesota. I think to me, I've always viewed Flip as the most underrated coach in the NBA because he knows how to connect to the players really well, and I think he runs a good offense for guards. Because we saw what he was able to develop Chauncey Billups, and now I think he can really develop Brandon Jennings into a top 10 point guard in this league.
Wait, what'd you say? You said Brandon Jennings.
Yeah, I said Brandon Jennings. I think he can really develop Brandon Jennings even more.
Saunders is Minnesota's coach.
Oh my God. I just had a Charles Barkley moment right there. You know what? That's going to be on our blooper tape when we're done. I just said Flips. Oh, my God. Okay, Ricky Rubio. He's going to develop Ricky Rubio. Okay, I'm done.
Oh, gosh. So, about your question with the Timberwolves. If Kevin Love stays, that's a big if. I think he will stay this year. I don't think they'll move him this summer. And I think they are poised for success. They have the talent for it. I mean, look, Kevin Martin had some big moments for that team last year. Love was consistently good throughout the year. Rubio struggled at times to score, but I think he's still a valuable piece for the team. And Bakovic was injured a lot towards the end of the season. It was kind of he'd come back for a game or two and then he'd sit out for like 10. So it was that was a frustrating season for him. Their bench, I think, just needs to improve a little bit. Gorgie Zhang, I think, solidified himself a spot on that bench. Berea's there. Maybe one more piece off the bench, and I think they should be good. Maybe not playoffs. Because I think in the West, I don't think you should evaluate your season by whether you make the playoffs. Like, say if Phoenix, they had a great year, but they didn't make it. But they shouldn't say, oh, we didn't make the playoffs, so the season shouldn't really matter. Sometimes it's just kind of say, oh, where did we finish? Kind of self-evaluating, not letting the NBA standings evaluate your season.
True. I'm going to ask you this. Who are your top teams for next year to surprise the league and have a huge impact in the league?
Oh, so like a good surprise?
Like the surprise teams for next year.
I don't know if there will be any surprise teams.
Really?
I think the West is pretty. It might stay the same, the exception of maybe Dallas falling out.
I think Phoenix is stepping in there.
Yeah, maybe Phoenix, or if Denver can stay healthy. Minnesota, New Orleans. But surprising teams, Orlando might have a good season. maybe the Pelicans. I don't know the Pelicans. Maybe the Bucks have a better year if they, depending on who they draft. I think it's a good idea if they draft Jabari Parker and have him play that LeBron James power forward position.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. For my
Jabari?
No. I was just. I mean, I agree. I'm just thinking of surprising teams. I think Phoenix could really have a huge impact. I think next year, maybe they could upset a team in the first round. Who knows? I think you look at a team like the Pelicans. Maybe they'll improve if they're healthy. It's always about health with them.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota, maybe. Detroit, maybe. Orlando, most likely to improve. I'm just really interested in what's going to happen this summer. This summer is just going to be as good as 2010 with LeBron and Melo and Kevin Love. It's going to be very interesting. I think LeBron...
I don't think LeBron... You think he actually leaves? You think he'll leave Miami?
If Cleveland... Let me just say this. If Cleveland can do something really nice in the draft, if I'm LeBron, I'm thinking it. I really am.
Cleveland.
Okay, honestly. Okay, let me ask you this.
Cleveland cannot mess up this draft. It's really hard to go wrong with three guys who can be interchangeable, but Embiid is kind of staring down as probably the number one choice. I don't know if LeBron goes to Cleveland. I don't know if he wants to come to Cleveland.
Why not?
They're not really established. There's still there's still a lot of flux in the organization. Kyrie, they're set to offer him a max contract, but besides that, there's just a lot of question marks with that team. What we thought they'd succeed this year, they were disappointing. So wouldn't you think LeBron would go to a more established franchise?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of LeBron to Golden State rumors.
Oh gosh, no.
Why wouldn't that be good?
Like in a sign and trade?
Yeah.
They'd probably have to give up like Iguodala and David Lee for that.
Would you okay, if they gave up Iguodala and David Lee for LeBron, do you think they win a championship?
Oh gosh, mate.
Say yes.
Any team with LeBron, I think, can make the playoffs. But a team that's already made the playoffs I think they can get for a championship. Yes, I do.
Do you think they would be better than the Thunder? Did you hear that?
What'd you say?
Do you think they would be better than the Thunder?
Oh yes, of course.
Okay, do you think they would be? Okay, what about this? If you think about it, if LeBron goes to Golden State, it would be a great idea. Because now he's going to be on a well-established team. Steve Kerr is a huge question mark, but if I'm LeBron, I'll just put it on the line and just risk it. Because the future is brighter in Golden State.
Yeah, the future is definitely brighter. I think they're better than the Thunder. I think they're better than the Clippers, their rival.
I think LeBron should just go to the Rockets. That's it. Final decision, he's going to the Rockets. What?
No Dwight touches.
No, LeBron would actually be willing to even pass the basketball to Dwight. Oh my God. Okay.
I think James Harden will pass the ball more this year.
Same, I agree with you. I think he knows that if both him and Dwight come together, it will make the game much easier for both of them. But okay, let's make some free agent picks before we go on out.
Okay, what about a Melo to Portland
Okay, now that's just getting crazy.
for Wes Matthews, Nick Batum, and the first round pick.
Oh no, the Knicks won't want that.
The Knicks, they don't even have a first round pick, so they'd want anything.
You think Carmelo would go to Portland? That's the thing with Carmelo. That's the only thing I get mad at with him. Why don't you come to a small market, please?
We don't know if he won't, because he never really said, "Oh, I'm only in it for the big markets."
But his mentality is the teams that he always expresses interest in are only big markets.
Because no one wants to be on a small market.
Yes, they do. LeBron was willing. No, I'm kidding. I think, but with the new collective bargaining agreement, there's no choice.
Yeah.
So, okay, you think Melo... Okay, honestly, let's make some picks. Where is Melo going? If you had to bet on it.
Chicago, I think, is up there. Wait, let me ask you this. Do you think there's any chance that he opted out to get another contract with the Knicks? That's still a possibility.
You know what? Okay, I'm going to ask you first. What percentage do you give that? Like, what chance, percentage-wise?
Oh, first, I don't think he opts out and signs them. I think he does another year and waits next year. But I think he might. I'll say 15%.
Okay, all right.
I don't know why he'd do that, but yeah.
Well, he could pad up his stats if he wants to, but yeah, I agree. I think 15%'s right. I think he's ultimately going to Chicago.
Ultimately, Chicago's the best fit for him, and
Yeah.
really is much better than Houston. LA is about 3 or 4 pieces away. LA and the Knicks are each a few pieces away from even contending for a playoff spot. Chicago, Derrick Rose, not only if he's healthy, because he was healthy beginning of last season, and he still had a subpar first 10 games, however many he played. It was, if they get a healthy and, focused Derrick Rose, MVP contending Joakim Noah, they might not have the same pieces. They'd have to probably amnesty Boozer and trade like Gibson and Dunleavy. But that's a top 3 Eastern Conference team in my opinion. I put it over Toronto and Washington.
Yeah, I would go. I agree. I think I agree with you with the Chicago point. Okay, next one. Kevin Love, where is he going?
This summer or next summer?
Your choice. You pick.
I think Love stays this year. Uses early termination option next year. And the Knicks could have cap space next year with Amari off the books. Maybe he goes to New York, contingent on if Melo's still there.
Oh.
Maybe I think he can come to LA, a revamped Boston. But the only thing about that is Rondo's going to be a free agent also, so he may be out the door.
You know what? I know where Kevin Love's going.
Where?
Sleep Train Arena. Kevin Love. James McDaniels, where are you? We need you. Kevin Love is coming to the Kings for a rental. Oh my God. Okay. Let me ask you this. If Kevin Love let's just say Kevin Love goes to Sacramento. They barely make the playoffs. They get swept in the first round. Are they a free agency destination?
No.
No?
No. I don't. Well, maybe that's if. But you said Kevin Love would be just a rental.
No. He would be a rental temporarily, but they'll extend his contract after the year. When he averages 40 points and 20 rebounds for them.
Maybe. I think that could be. Not as much as the big markets, but maybe one of those teams that's a smaller market, but people still want to go to. But maybe they try to get Love this summer. Maybe they trade their first round pick in Rudy Gay.
And Rudy Gay?
Yeah, they're going to need...
Okay, yeah, I agree.
If Flip Saunders will show in Minnesota, he's smart. He's not just going to give a disgruntled Kevin Love up for anything. He's going to want that number 8 and Rudy Gay for Kevin Love.
Jordan?
Yeah.
Alright, so, do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, so, when you think of Rudy Gay, do you think he could be a star in this league again?
Not the best player on the team, but definitely the second best. He has to be a compliment. In Toronto, he was the best player at the time, because DeMar DeRozan kind of evolved this season after he left. I don't think he could be the best player. He could be a good player. I don't know about a star. I don't know about an all-star, but a good player in this league. Because right now, I think he's the second best player to DeMarcus on the team. So, since we were on the Kings, do you think Isaiah Thomas would go to Miami? He's a restricted free agent.
Oh, man. Would he want to go? I think anybody would want to go and leave from Sleep Train. But will Sacramento do it? No. He's their leader.
You don't think they'll let him? And I don't think Miami would be the team to give him that much money.
I don't think he'll ask for a lot.
I think he could in the market. He could probably command if a team wants to get maybe 4-year, $44 million deal that Curry got, and they got Curry for a bargain in Golden State. I could see 4-year, $44 million. Maybe because he did average 20 points a game.
Well, that's true, but what about this is the last player I'm going to ask you for, and then we're going to head off. LeBron, is he going back to his home? Cleveland or Akron, Ohio was his home, but is he going back to his NBA home in Cleveland, Ohio?
I don't think so.
You don't think there's going to be a storybook ending and we're all going to cry and we're all going to be getting our LeBron Cavs jerseys back and we're going to be, getting LeBron Sprite and rejoicing? Or you think it's just going to be in Miami, he's going to give it a few more tries?
I don't think he goes back to Cleveland. One thing Bosch said today, big three forever.
No.
Really?
Okay,
Big three forever?
would you trade Wade and Bosch?
I think Bosch may leave.
I've heard Bosch to the Lakers.
I heard Bosch to Dallas.
Really? To Dallas?
What? Cuban would make a hard push for Bosch. He would. Even though they wouldn't have because Bosch nor Nowitzki are centers, they wouldn't have a true center. But I think actually Bosch fits better in Houston than Dallas.
Oh, Bosch in Houston.
That would be nice.
Now, you could put Terrence Jones coming off the bench, and now I'm starting to think championship for them. Because...
But would Dwight get the ball?
Yeah, he would. Yeah, he would.
It's all about Dwight.
Well, it is all about Dwight, but he'll get the ball. Bosch is a great passer. You don't remember the Bosch signature pass to Wade for the Game 2 clincher?
Oh, yeah, true.
What about, okay, so, the one guy I want to talk about, before we give our shout-outs and we leave. One guy I want to talk about is a former NBA player, Kenny Anderson. Where are you? That's all I'm going to say. Where are you? I've been trying to get you on. Please, Kenny. I know you're in the East Coast. You're probably asleep right now. And I know last time you told me, you were sorry because you couldn't do it. But Kenny, we've been hyping this up. I even, put this on Instagram. Kenny, I need to get you on sometime. But who do you want to shout out to before we go?
Just shout out to all the Spurs haters. All the people that said, oh, they can't do it. Miami 3-peat.
Well, I never said they can't do it.
But you were just so adamant with Miami winning.
No.
You were.
Okay, no. I'll say this. Did I really think Miami was going to win? Yes. But I love the Spurs. You know that too, right? I do like the Spurs. How many times have I complimented them on the show? I am not a hater. I just thought that the Heat would barely win in 7. That's all.
Okay.
No, it's true. I know. And you're a Heat hater too, so...
I'm not a Heat hater. I really do not want them to win the championship.
Okay, well... Do you have any more shout-outs?
No.
Okay, I got 2 shout-outs. One to our biggest fan, Josiah Delator. He wants me to wear a Kobe shirt. And you know what? He wants me to say bad things about LeBron tomorrow. And he wanted me to say bad things about LeBron in the show. But I couldn't. I can't. Sorry, Josiah. And Josiah, Lakers didn't make the playoffs either, so you can't be telling me that I have to be mean to LeBron. Now you have to be mean to Kobe then. I'm going to rest that. Josiah, we like you. We love you on the show. We hope you come on. And another shout out. Iran soccer. Please come through for me. We want this to happen. Just one more, just 3 games. Draw Argentina, beat Nigeria, and beat Bosnia. And we are going to go far. This is going to be like miracle when U.S., won in hockey in 1980. It's going to be the exact same thing with soccer. Iran, please come through. And that's the end of the Spurs-Heat Post Game Show. I know everybody thinks I'm crazy, but I'm rooting for Iran, okay?
Who do they play? Do they play tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow against Nigeria.
Ooh, that's going to be tough.
But do you know they're ranked higher than Nigeria?
Oh, really?
Yeah, they are ranked higher than Nigeria, but people don't believe in Iran. A lot of haters on them, but
I think they can make it out.
We'll see how they can do. Spurs-Heat Post Game Show. It's been an incredible year. It's an end of the NBA year. We first started doing shows together before the preseason, and now it's come to an end. Wasn't this a really great year?
This was a great year. The playoffs were amazing. big shots, all the road wins by all the road wins by the road teams. Damian Lillard game series clincher. That's probably one of the highlight moments of the whole playoffs. Was that Damian Lillard Game 6 buzzer beater for the win.
I agree. I have to agree with you there. And that's it. That's the end of the 2014.
Oh, wait. I want to ask you one question.
All right, let's go.
What was your favorite series out of all the series?
Oh, man, that's tough. My favorite series... Oh.
Okay, let's do favorite series for the first round.
Okay, Portland-Houston.
Yeah, I'd probably go Portland and Houston. Or I'd actually... I really like the OKC-Memphis series, too.
Yeah, I did, too.
What about second round?
Oh, man, I'm trying to think of all the matchups.
The Heat, Nets, Pacers, Wizards, Clippers, Thunder.
Actually, you know what my favorite series of the whole year was?
What?
You're gonna love this one. Wait, just guess.
Was it a blowout series?
No. Very tightly contested.
Was it Hawks, Pacers?
Yeah. Yes. I wanted the Hawks to win so badly. I wanted them to win so badly, but they didn't. They came up so close. I hope next year they're going to get a healthy Al Horford and they're going to go straight to the Eastern Conference Finals with Kyle Korver and Pero Ontic. That was my favorite series. What was your favorite series out of all of them?
Out of all of them, my favorite series, Clippers Thunder.
Okay. And
Clippers. I think the first two series with the Thunder were both really good series. The Western Conference Finals was kind of a blowout in the first 4 games. So my top two were Thunder Clippers and Thunder Grizzlies.
And that's a wrap. Spurs-Heat Post Game Show is done. Your 2014 NBA champs are the San Antonio Spurs and MVP Kawhi Leonard. That's it. We're done. That's the NBA season. Bye, everyone.
Season time. Yeah, free agents.